Well, a trip to state is on the line for several local teams, the Wheelersburg Pirates and the Colegrove Hornets. Here coming up on Friday, I'm Ben Spicer, sports reporter here at the Portsmouth Daily Times, along with Kevin Colley, sports editor of the Portsmouth Daily Times, and our special guest, Hunter Staggs, as always, on to provide some insight from the upcoming football games. And first, we're going to talk a little bit about the Pee Wee Football Super Bowl, which was last Saturday. I got the chance to go to that. Unfortunately, I wasn't there for the first game. I believe the Memphis Falcons beat Portsmouth West, but Portsmouth West got revenge in the 5th and 6th grade game over their rival Portsmouth with a 28-8 win. And hey, Garrett Hurd's little brother, Jace Hurd, looks just like Garrett. He had 3 touchdowns, I believe it was, on the ground. And he's going to be just as good, if not better, than Garrett when he gets up to that point. But it was fun to see because when you look at them side by side, they're really similar in how they run. And Jace has the number 23 just like Garrett. It was really cool to see. Really exciting. And their cousin also is on the team as well. He was the quarterback. So you might be done with Garrett Hurd after next year. But you've got two other Hurds coming up on the horizin. So
they're definitely everywhere around the west side.
They are. That's no doubt. They had Bryson and now Garrett and Jesse and
Jason,
the whole Jason. They've got a whole slew of them.
It's crazy.
And then when you look at West this season in the high school side of things, they finished 10-2, a 7-win improvement from last year. They were knocked out last week by Johnstown-Monroe, but there's a lot to be excited about on the West side. I think we can all agree on that. An outstanding season from the Portsmouth West Senators. That was their first playoff win since 2011. The senior class finished with a record of 24-18, kind of ushering things in for Coach Ben Johnson. And they're going to miss those big guys up on the offensive and defensive line, those seniors.
Right. Jacob Gilkey and Kane Lewis and Brandon Weaver, Caleb Deaver were really the heart and soul of West team. And, man, they were so physical up there up front. It's one thing to have a hard runner, like Garrett Hurd, and have a quarterback like Dylan Bradford, who each runs very, very hard with the football. Have the Staggs, Cody and Cole, back there doing their thing. But then to have a line that's so physical that gets such a good push, that's what made West what it was. And it was so much fun watching them this year. I agree with Ben, one of the most enjoyable teams to watch because they play with their heart on their sleeve. They play with we've got a chip on our shoulder, just because we're from the west side. Don't underestimate us because we can do good things too. And these guys really, really came out with a fire. Winning all four games, they won, decided by 6 points or less. It really says a lot about the poise that they had. And like you guys mentioned, they've got a heck of a lot of young talent. You mentioned Jace Hurd, but you got Samlin from the quarterback,
Sanderlin?
Is it
Kenny,
Sanderlin? Kenny.
He's in 7th grade. He'll be up there a couple of years.
Yeah, that they're saying is a phenom, could be a phenom type QB back there. So
I think Hunter was telling me about him the other day.
Yeah. They're already talking about him on Southeastern Ohio Prep, so they're tipping them off on there. They're really singing his praises. So
we got Kenny Sanderlin, Jeremy Harper. They're all coming up, and they're really good. They're going to be the future of West football, definitely.
I know, Hunter, you were at all the West games. What are you going to miss about those seniors that are graduating this year?
It's crazy, man. These guys, the seniors, I've been with them ever since they were in Pee Wee. I've been through it all. Their games, their feed the teams, everything. And football's a brotherhood. It really is. And these guys, they took it to heart. They've been together forever, and they're really good guys. They enjoyed each other's company. And the best thing is they were dialed in. And whenever our quarterback was Brady Doutham, but he went to East. Everybody was dialed in. They were ready to go whenever Brady played at West, and everybody was on the same page. And that's really what it takes to get a good winning record like they did in junior high this year and all throughout Pee Wee.
Yeah. It's unfortunate West couldn't finish the season with Josh Berry. He really epitomized too what West is all about. I thought he made the biggest play of the year when he picked off a pass against Portsmouth and returned it for a 32-yard touchdown that gave West the lead. I feel like that really catapulted West to bigger and better things. And it's unfortunate that he had suffered broken collarbone. It's an injury I've had, and it's painful, and it's not. And
Yeah.
depending on the type of collarbone injury that it is, it's not really something you can control.
Right.
You kind of just have to let it heal, and you kind of have to stay off of it for a while. And that's the toughest thing as a football player, is to not be able to hit the weight room and be able to rehab an injury.
Yeah.
And a collarbone's one of those things, one of the tougher injuries to have. It's not as painful as a knee or a head injury, obviously, but it's so hard not to want to get back working. I mean, when they told me I was out for 8 weeks with it, it crushed me, and I wasn't even a starter. So I mean, I can't imagine what Josh was feeling like. So I hate it for him. I hope next year he gets to finish off the way he deserves to finish it off.
Whenever he first broke it or whatever, he couldn't lift, he couldn't do anything. But now that he's healing, he's doing better. He's a basketball player. He'll be out on the basketball court for West this year.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's
it
great.
is. And he's a really good basketball player. I don't know if you guys have seen him play.
I have not.
He's really good.
Yeah.
He's good on the basketball court, on the football field. It's crazy. He doesn't play baseball. I think he could do really good at that too.
Yeah.
But he hits the waist hard during the spring and the summer, and he loves it.
Yeah, they like that. Their baseball team stacked anyway. Just add him to that speed. I mean, to still be able to steal bases, him and Hurd, that'd be electric.
Him,
to watch
Hurd,
him.
Marty with the hit.
Yeah, Marty Hill would be great.
Oh yeah.
We'll be talking
Can't
about
be
basketball here before long. It's
Oh, yeah.
on the horizon. We've gone to a couple of media days, so
Yeah.
look forward to that. But for now, of
Sure
course,
have.
we've got the football playoff previews and stuff to look forward to. I know you talked a little bit about Brady Douthit, so that kind of leads us into the conversation of the East Tartans. They were eliminated by Hannibal River as well, unfortunately. Still a great season for the Tartans as well. I mean, they got their first playoff win in school history. Blade Scott's going to West Virginia. You've got Brady Douthit. He's getting set to commit as well. They just got great players all around. And I mean, Ethan Carver, Ethan Gifford, great offensive line as well, just like the Portsmouth West Senators. And Braden Haney on that defensive line, of course, getting all those sacks as well. So under James Gifford, I think they've got a bright future as well. And they had a fantastic season.
Yeah,
They did.
They sure did. I mean, there's no, the loss was lopsided, but East got to that stage. There's no other team in East history that can say that. Being there for the first time, I mean, you're going to be kind of starstruck. That's just the way it goes. I mean, playing for the right to advance to a regional title game and losing to a team that has really hit its stride at the right time in Hannibal River with talent like Drew Dietz and Lucas Azalea back there at the quarterback position. There's no shame in that. I think what the East senior class and the East players have done is they set a bar that will allow East to return to the stage. There were so many years where East folks thought that this was the year we would make a big playoff run or get that first playoff win. 2007 undefeated, lost in first round. 2008 undefeated, lost in first round. 2016 undefeated, lost in first round. This group wasn't really expected to do a lot of things like those three teams were having, gone, 8-2 in the regular season, but they did. They went out and did what no other East team did. They beat Wofford 16-8. It could have easily been 24-8. They've dominated the game from the second series on. They dominated physically. A Wofford team that was perceived by most to be better. They dominated physically on both ends of the football, and this is a team that James Gifford really could have not just 1 or 2 years of success, but sustained success over a long period of time. Because they have Kyle Flannery back, he could be their starting QB next year with his abilities. Chase Cole is in that mix too, and you got Mackie Kingery back. Those are some good pieces to build on. And I look for East to continue success. They probably, losing a class like that, they'll probably have, I'm sure, a little bit of a fall off. I'll be shocked if they wouldn't, but that would really speak to Coach Gifford's coaching abilities and the mentality of those players. But they're going to be right back in the thick of things. I say easy 6-7 wins next year, maybe more than that on down the line.
And I know we kind of talked about it last week. There's no shame in losing to that Hannibal River team. They beat that Harvest Christian team and scored 90 in week 10.
Right.
So, and then they're playing Danville next, so you never know what could happen. I mean, we could be talking about Hannibal River and the state championship down the road. I mean, they have a great team as well, so there's nothing to hang their head on. I think they've really, as you said, Kevin, set the foundation for the future and things to build on down the road. I mean, they've got a great team, just looking at it on paper next year lined up. So I think the future's bright as long as Coach Gifford's there. They're always going to be a tough tough team, it's like Portsmouth West. They're always going to be a tough physical team, and that's something that they've always hung their hats on.
Yeah, you're always going to get 100%.
Yeah.
All across the board from East and West because they're passionate about their communities. That's what makes it fun. Ben really referenced it well because he said they were the most enjoyable teams to watch because they embodied their community so well. And I mean, that's what makes them so much fun to watch. The communities really come out and support them. You know, and it's wonderful to see that. You in Kentucky, you know, where Ben and I come from, we really don't see that a whole lot. Like a lot of guys getting behind their team. It's great to be supportive of everything. It's really great to see how supportive those two communities are of their football programs because it's just from the band to everything is just so in tune with what high school football is all about, what it's supposed to be about.
Yeah, and I remember the first time I went to cover an East game, wasn't aware they had the parade going in, so I was running a little late, and then I got stuck behind the parade, and I was like, what's going on? And I talked with Coach Gifford after the game, and I was like, was that just a one-time thing? And he said, no, we do that every time. And I mean, you've got people sitting outside their houses on the streets watching the kids come in on the bus. It was just an awesome sight.
Yeah.
And I go to the West game a couple weeks ago when they played Martins Ferry. People offer me food at the tailgate, so it's just an entire sense of community in these teams. I mean, it's really awesome to see. It really is.
Yeah, that's stuff you wish you had in Kentucky. We don't have that. I mean, that's something to really be blessed with the type of community support that these schools have. You don't have people that come out and really go out on a Friday night and say we're done, we're closed, we're going to see a football game, or we're going to see this or that. That's really neat. A really neat environment to be a part of, and I think the players and the coaches involved really should not only be grateful, just be blessed and grateful to be a part of that. The communities support them so well.
And I know when we looked at the Tartans at the start of the year, we were kind of concerned losing Akia Brown, but they had almost no drop-off in offensive talent. I mean, Ethan Gifford, Ethan Carver, Kyle Flannery, they come in and have great seasons. J.D. Hatcher was the weapon through the air. Flannery got it done on the ground and through the air. And they had some talent around, and they really did a good job of replacing Akia.
Right. I think they got even better offensively because they had to become more balanced. They instead of having Akia, just one back, deal, it was a back kind of by committee thing. You couldn't key on one back. You had Kyle Flannery, who's an outside runner, and he could come out of the backfield, catch passes, line up out wide, catch passes. You had Ethan Gifford, who was a tough inside runner, as well as Ethan Carver, who was a little bit of a mixture of both, and really was outstanding during the playoffs. And then Brady Douthit had a higher completion percentage than Drew Lowe, and that's hard to do considering Drew Lowe threw for 21 touchdowns and 2 picks. He went bettered that, throw for 26 touchdowns and 5 picks, throwing more passes. I mean, that says a lot. And J.D. Hatcher had an outstanding season. Like they say, Doubt that the Hatcher money in the bank. Well, it was true because, I mean, Hatcher had had touchdown receptions on nearly 50% of all of his catches. So, I mean, it really was money in the bank for East this year.
Yeah.
We do have some more local teams still involved in the playoffs. We didn't talk about the Colegrove Hornets last year, and it's almost like they knew that. I mean, they came out and dominated that game against Chillicothe Southeastern. They were 11-0 entering that game. Chillicothe Southeastern was, and Colegrove beat them 46-22 after only winning by a point, 7-6 in the opening round. So the offense got things going. Nate Harmon had 188 passing yards on 8 attempts and 3 touchdowns in the first half. Kemo Baldwin comes out, 2 rushing touchdowns. Kyle Seitz has 2 rushing touchdowns as well. Southeastern didn't score 14 points until late in the game. So Colegrove just flat out dominated this team, and now they've got Nelsonville York, a team that we've kind of touched on as well, who's a great team, obviously. They've played some local teams. They beat Shadyside 34-0 in the first round, and Fort Fry 26-20 in overtime last week. Now they were up 20-0 in the fourth quarter. Fort Fry came all the way back. Nelsonville York, the Buckeyes, have also played some other teams from around here. They beat Waverly 38-13 and Memphis 50-33. I know when we looked at that game against Waverly, that was a game that we kind of highlighted earlier in the season, and we said, hey, maybe Waverly is going to win because Memphis put up 33 on these guys. So you look at Colegrove coming into this game. I mean, offensively, you don't really know what you're going to get because the week before they scored 7 and then they scored 46. But in that game against Shenandoah, I believe they forced 6 turnovers. So the defense has been a constant throughout the season, and I think that could be a difference in this game. Garrett Maiden, obviously, for Nelsonville York is an elite talent at quarterback, and he had a great game as well in that game. against Fort Fry. He had touchdowns of 71 yards, 55, and 32 through the air, threw for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. So he's a great quarterback as well. It's going to be the battle of the quarterbacks almost, Nate Harmon and Garrett Maiden. Buckeyes have scored 20 points in every game this season, so that's something to watch out for. But I think we've talked about it on a couple of episodes in the past. Evan Ferguson, the first-year head coach, the community, they've all kind of rallied around this Colegrove team, and I think they're a dangerous team.
Yes, they are.
And I think I'm going to go with the Hornets. Why not?
Yeah, I'm going with Colegrove too. I really think this is a group that will make the state semifinals. Evan Ferguson, really, man, he's got those guys playing some football. They've really done a great job limiting the personal foul penalties that plagued Colegrove for years. Always have a
and that was a problem at the start of the year as well. Yeah. So it's good to see him correct that, and that's just great coaching.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, from a 25-year-old.
Yeah.
I mean, he relates. I mean, he has to relate really good to his players to win 11 games in the first season. I mean, no doubt. I mean, that's why he won co-coach of the year in Division 6. I mean, he could have arguably taken it outright, but I understand there. But he's just, the players love playing for him, according to what everybody has said. And
he knows a little bit about the playoffs too.
Yeah, he does. He does. And Garrett Maiden, obviously, what he did against Minford. I mean, the guy can run, pass, kick, fill up the Gatorade cooler, and do it all. But Colegrove just finds ways to win in various ways. I mean, they beat Portsmouth in a defensive battle. They went out and pummeled Ironton in a game that a lot of people expected to be close. They went out and pummeled Fairwind in a game people expected to be closer than what it was. I have Colegrove winning again. I think they're going to continue to ride that magic all the way to state semis.
I think the Hornets got what it takes to win. Their only loss this year has been to West.
Yep.
And West, they were a tough team.
Yeah.
They really have.
Yeah,
they were really
West
good.
only up 7-6 at halftime.
Yeah, they did really good this year. Colegrove, they went 11-1 right now. And I think they got what it takes to win them this next round in the playoffs, and they'll end up going farther.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And now here's the big game, Wheelersburg. They're 12-0 as well.
Yeah.
They've got Johnstown-Monroe. Hunter and I both saw the Johnnies last week. This game's going to be played at Chillicothe-Hernstein Field. And Wheelersburg beat Bishop Reedy 34-0 to get here. Comeback win over Columbus Academy. You were at that one, 35-16 last week. Johnstown-Monroe, they scored 35 points in both of their playoff games. 35-0 win over Oak Hill, and then a 35-6 win over West. Now get this, Kevin. I'm sure you're aware of this, but Johnstown didn't throw a pass against West.
No.
Didn't even attempt one.
No.
I mean, they're facing a 3rd and 9. They run a fullback dive up the middle.
Yeah.
They didn't throw a single pass. So when you look at it, you're thinking maybe they're one-dimensional, but I'm looking at it from an aspect of maybe they don't want to put that on film of what they're going to try and do.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
I really think that's something that they're going to do. And Wheelersburg's got to be ready because they've got athletes and they're a team that likes to run the football, but they know that they have to pass at some point. This isn't new to Johnstown-Monroe. They've been to 4 straight playoffs. They know what they're doing, and I think that that's something that they did ahead of time to kind of prepare for this game. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just kind of an assumption that I have, but they did dominate on the ground in that game. They had 444 rushing yards according to my stats, saying their stud in the backfield, running back Bryce Barish, had over 250 rushing yards. But West did have some success passing the ball, although they were kind of shut down on the ground. Dylan Bradford had 119 passing yards and a touchdown, as well as a 68-yard throw for a score to Cody Staggs. So the Johnnies can kind of stop the run, but I'm wondering if they can defend the pass. And Wheelersburg's obviously a very balanced team. I think their specialty, though, is the Trent Salyers-Tanner Holden connection, and I'm kind of concerned that the Johnnies can't slow that down. So I'm taking Wheelersburg in this one.
I got Berg too. Berg just really impressed me. In the situation that they hadn't been in all season long, and shotgun's not working. Columbus Academy scored all 13 of his points off turnovers. Sam Masick is booting field goals of 50 yards, about 40, 50 yards, and Herman Moultrie the third is running. He had more success than any back had all year against Wheelersburg in the first half, running for saying how good Wheelersburg rush defense is. He still ran for under 4 yards a carry, but he ran for 42 yards on 13 carries in the first half there, and it was a lot of people probably thinking this is looking a little bleak right now. They came out in the second half and they totally changed up what they did. They went from the shotgun, the flash, and went straight back to good old hat on hat power football. They talked there at halftime, the line and the coaches, and they saw some things that they could exploit, and they did that. Xander Carmichael was unstoppable. Really, he had having the 4 total touchdowns, and the huge 42-yard gadget play pass to Evan Horsley that went for a score was incredible. Probably one of the coolest, perfectly executed plays that I have ever seen in the game of football, and they just poised. I mean, that to me, if anybody had any doubts that Wheelersburg is not a state championship caliber team, that totally knocks it away, because I mean they were in a situation they hadn't been all year. They hadn't scored any points. The offense isn't working. That's their bread and butter plays. The screen pass that Tanner Holden took 70 yards for a touchdown. That was so incredible. Probably the best play I've seen all year. Gets called back for holding. Nothing is really going right. They find a way. They forced turnover second half. Won the takeaway battle. Were +2 in that in the second half. They did everything that they possibly could do to come out with a win. This game here against Johnstown-Monroe, it will be somebody's giving something up. It's going to be Johnstown-Monroe, like I said, rushed for 444 yards. Wheelersburg's defense hasn't allowed more than 4 yards per carry all season long, so something's going to give. I think Johnstown-Monroe running every play, it's not going to work against a defense that can rotate as much as Burke does and as disciplined as Burke is. I think that's going to be a big problem. I know Johnstown-Monroe has quite a few players on its own. Obviously, was Division IV last year. He's played an excellent schedule, a very, very tough schedule with 2 wins over Division II schools. But I don't see them beating the Pirates. The Pirates have so much depth on both sides of the ball, and the rotations and stuff again wore down another opponent in the second half, and I see that being the case. Even though I do think the game will be close, I think it will be decided by 2 scores.
And you kind of predicted last week that the Columbus Academy Wheelersburg game would be close. You were the only one of us that thought it would be. So, what are your thoughts on this one, having seen Johnstown last week?
Well, I think it's crazy. They didn't pass against us, and I was really surprised. Usually teams pass quite a bit. They'll mix it up. They'll do some run. They'll do some pass. But Johnstown didn't pass, so I think they're hiding something from Wheelersburg for this week. I think they're getting ready for them. I'm going to pick Johnstown-Monroe. I'm going to shock the county right here. But I definitely think Wheelersburg, they got the depth chart. They got a depth chart as deep as the Ohio River, I'm telling you. It's crazy.
That's a good one.
They can sub in and out as much as they want, give their guys breaks as long as they need. But I'm going to pick the Johnnies. I mean, I was heartbroken that West lost last week. It was crazy. But I'm going to pick them this week.
All right. Yeah. Well, there you go. And that's something you guys touched on that I think is really interesting, and I think it's going to be a factor in this game because, of course, as you know, West has guys that play defensive and offensive line. Right. Fatigue is obviously a factor. It's very cold. Wheelersburg can rotate in and out, so I think that's going to be a difference. And West really came on strong in the second half, so I don't really know if you can even say fatigue was an issue because there were times that they shut down the Johnnies in the second half where they couldn't in the first half. So when you get those fresh players in for Wheelersburg, I think that's going to make a difference in this game.
A team that runs that Johnstown-Monroe, like a lot of people said, is similar to Jackson in a lot of ways, and I think Johnstown-Monroe is better than Jackson. Burke had some issues with Jackson, especially in the first half. I do think Burke will win, but Johnstown-Monroe is definitely not a team to tread lightly on. They can play some football. Just because they run every play doesn't make them a weak opponent by any means. I mean, if it works, why fix it? I mean, if it ain't broke, why fix it? It obviously works. So, I mean, this is going to be a game that's going to be, in my opinion, decided by 2 scores or less. Burke wins by any more than that. I mean, you really do. Anybody has to take them seriously as around the state as a state title contender. I don't care what corner of the state you're from.
Yeah, this is going to be a fun game to watch. I can't wait for that one. It's going to be exciting. I wish it was Friday already. I really do.
Yeah, I'm ready.
So we'll have updates on the game as well. You can check out our Twitter, and of course we'll have videos from the game afterwards. For Hunter Staggs and Kevin Colley, I'm Ben Spicer. Thank you guys so much for watching our playoff edition of Southeast Ohio Sports Talk.